Hello class, today we are continuing our lesson on finding volume. I would first like to begin with reviewing what we already know. We know how to find area with the formula area equals length times height. So with this example, we would take the length of 6 and the height of 4 to get an area of 24 square inches. Like we just mentioned, when we're finding the area, we focus on one direction, the length, and a second direction, the height. That means that area is two-dimensional. Yesterday, we focused on finding the volume by counting the unit cubes that a shape can hold. So for this shape, we would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cubes, making the volume 8 unit cubes. Right now, we're used to seeing figures where we can easily count the amount of unit cubes it holds. But class, how do we find the volume of a figure when we cannot count the amount of unit cubes there are? Turn to your partner and discuss how you might find the volume of a shape without counting the unit cubes that it holds. To answer this question, let's focus on the dimensions we see in this shape. Right now, I see two dimensions. The length is 6 inches and the height is 4 inches. But when this becomes a three-dimensional shape, I see a third dimension. That's the width. So class, there are three very important measurements you need to find the volume: the length, the width, and the height. Once we have these three measurements, we can multiply them together to find the volume. The formula for volume is length times width times height. In this case, we would take 6 inches times 5 inches times 4 inches, which would equal 120 inches cubed. Class, we already know that we can find the volume of this figure by simply counting the cubes, and that is 8 unit cubes. However, now that we know the three measurements that we need, we can count that the length is 4 units, the width is 1 unit, and the height is 2 units. With these measurements, we can use our new formula for volume, which is volume equals length times width times height, or volume equals 4 units times 1 unit times 2 units. So the volume would equal 8 units cubed. This formula gives us the ability to calculate the volume of a three-dimensional shape by using the measurements of its dimensions. We verified this by using a strategy we already knew, which was by counting the unit cubes that that shape can hold. Take a moment to discuss with your partner why you think this strategy works. If you have any questions, now is a great time to raise your hand and I'll be walking around the classroom to help. Let's go back and examine the answer we found for finding the volume of this shape. We did 6 inches times 5 inches times 4 inches and got 120 inches to the third power, or 120 inches cubed. But what does that mean? Turn to your partner and discuss why you think we used cube units or units cubed when finding the volume. 120 inches to the third power, or 120 inches cubed, means length in units times width in units times height in units. Unit times unit times unit is unit to the third power, or unit cubed. So we did 6 inches times 5 inches times 4 inches, or 6 times 5 times 4, which is 120, and inch times inch times inch, which is inch to the third power, or inches cubed. Volume is always expressed in cubic units or units cubed. Now let's put what we just learned to practice. The first worksheet you'll be doing, you will count the units to find the dimensions, length, width, and height, and then multiply them to find the volume. For the second worksheet, you will be given the length, width, and height, and you are expected to use the volume formula to find the volume. This is independent work, but I will be going around the classroom to help anyone who has any questions. The very last question is a challenge question. I would like everyone to try their best to answer it and draw out the length, the width, and height of the shape that is described in the word problem.